Anyone got anything? It's the ending of Halo, the Halo trilogy. Yeah.
What is involved is so big. I mean, it's a massive franchise.
Yeah.
That's it. I know there's going to be some minor spin-offs.
Sure, there's definitely spin-offs in the works. This is the end of this part of the Master Chief story. That's not to say we'd never return to it in the future.
Well, obviously the money is there.
But you know, right now we're really interested in closing out this trilogy in a satisfying way. I mean, I think that the last thing anyone wants to do is just rehash it. So if we ever do something with Halo again, it'd be something significantly different, either in terms of plot, location, characters, whatever. We wouldn't simply do Halo 3.5. We have a kind of object fetishism that you have for something like Star Wars. That's not to compare us directly, but if you think about Star Wars, the universe, you think about things like the Death Star and X-Wing fighters and land speeders and blasters and lightsabers, and there's all these objects that you associate with them because they were really well defined, and I think that's one thing that we've done well, is build vehicles and weapons that people recognize. I think the danger in writing for video games is building a story that you won't diverge from, no matter how cool an idea one of your designers comes up with. I think we do it the other way around. We have a set of characters, a set of events that we want to bring to a conclusion. So if a designer comes up with a new vehicle and says, I have this crazy new vehicle, we need to incorporate this into the level, it's going to be really fun, it's child's play to write that into the game script. I mean, we're a sci-fi universe, we have unlimited flexibility in what we can do. And short of time travel, you can do just about anything and get away with it in the sci-fi universe. And so that's what we do. We adapt the story to fit the gameplay rather than the other way around. Everyone at Bungie understands that the game is important to the platform, but I think we're very lucky this year in a way. Like, if you were at E3, the game's coming out on the Xbox 360 this fall. It's just crazy expensive fall for people. There's BioShock, there's Mass Effect, there's Assassin's Creed, there's Grand Theft Auto. I mean, this year we are important to the platform and we get that, but I don't think we needed to be out this year for the platform to see a significant increase in sales this year with those games. That said, Microsoft does insulate us very well from that kind of pressure. They have a very hands-off approach.
You didn't have any pressure from Microsoft during the development?
We chose the ship day. We said this is when we can deliver the best game possible. We never deviated from it. They never asked us to deviate from it.
So how did you react when I don't remember who in Microsoft said, I think 1 year and a half, that the Halo 3 launch will be the same date as the PS3 launch. I heard that.
I think that was Bill Gates actually, and he, funnily enough, is a real Halo fan, but I don't think he was quite connected to our schedule at that time. But to be fair to Bill, Sony did delay pretty significantly. We almost made it. So, so the movie's it's technically on hold, but there is still a bunch of agreements in place that are waiting for the right time. Honestly, my feeling is that as we get closer to the launch of Halo 3, there's going to be significantly more interest in doing it. The problem with Hollywood is it doesn't move or operate the same as the games industry. And you put those two industries together, sometimes they're at loggerheads with trying to make the deal and the timing and the creative work, but I really think it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when, and of course we have to have the best partners, and we have to make sure that it's not just another B-movie, quick turnaround license. When we do it, it needs to be as big an event as the game, and there's several ways to approach that, so we'll see. So we will be working on downloadable content for Halo 3, and it'll be the kinds of things that you expect Again, there's some announcements we haven't made yet. Some stuff leaked recently. But there's elements of Halo 3 that will make it'll take people longer to get bored of maps, put it that way. But we are going to be working on downloadable content. No, I think if you look at something like, I think Gears of War did us a big favor by coming in and soaking up a lot of that attention and a lot of the idea that the Xbox is a one-game platform.
Well, you it wasn't. It's just
but it's a lot of pressure when you're the game that people are playing. But what we noticed with Gears was that instead of stymieing the Xbox Live and the Xbox gaming marketplace, it actually drives it. It's like an engine where people are playing Gears and talking about games and playing them 360 a lot, and that drives them to buy things. They buy more games, they interact more, they buy live accounts, and it's kind of an ecosystem that is always driven by big successes to greater success. So hopefully we can come along and do a little bit of what Gears did last year and drive the platform further. Because the one reason we do want massive success on a large scale is just so we can have more people playing our game, and that drives the game's ecosystem, because the game requires a lot of players to be enjoyed properly. It doesn't require millions, but a couple of 100,000, you have a beautiful system. Any bigger than that, it's just gravy. So, great. All right, cool. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Nice to meet y'all.
Got something to eat, I haven't.
You haven't had a chance to eat yet?
No?
I'm not going to eat in front of you. I'm going to stop now. There's a lot of food out there, I think, though. You've just been busy playing and talking to people.
Yeah.
This is the Legendary Edition for Halo 3. Sorry. Inside the helmet, there will be 2 game discs. It's the game for Halo 3 plus 2 bonus discs that come chock full of high definition, making of behind-the-scenes features, information about the team, some insights on the community, and just some bonus content for Halo fans. And the second disc is, the highlight for there is the remastered cinematics from the first 2 games. So for someone who's new to Halo, doesn't quite know the story, they can sit back on their couch and watch, I think it's over 2 hours of cinematics from all the first 2 games, all remastered in high resolution with a developer commentary track as well. So I think we have about 20 minutes. I don't really have a presentation. I'm just here to answer questions. The demo that we had downstairs, I think that particular build actually had 4 levels on it.
When I finished it, it gave me 2 achievements for the first and for the second level. So.
The game that you played?
Yeah.
Yeah, that mission that you played called Sabo Highway is the 3rd mission in the game.
Okay. So what happens before this?
Some stuff. The mission that Frank played on the stage, Sierra 117,
Said before this.
that's the opening of the game.
Okay.
So you have that mission where you're in the jungle, some stuff happens that we didn't show you or talk about. Eventually, Master Chief and his allies have made their way to this base. And at the beginning of the mission you played, that base has maybe come under fire, taken some damage, and your objective is to escape the base, make your way to this town of Void, and sort of regroup with your allied force on the ground.
Okay. And by the demo ends, what happens next? What the thing we saw in the E3 demo in 2006?
No, not exactly. The E3 demo 2006, as it was presented last year, that exact chain of events does not happen in the game. Obviously that landscape was part of what you played today. The earlier levels, generally, like the mission you played today, for example, was the first time in the game where you actually ever get to drive a vehicle. So it's meant, that's why when you start out, it's fairly quiet, there's not a lot of guys to fight. It's to give players a chance to familiarize themselves with the Warthog. By the time you get further into the game, we pull out all the stops. Everything's fair game. You've got tons of vehicles, tons of allies, tons of enemies, and you can approach, grab a tank here if you want, grab a Warthog here if you want.
As Halo 3 is said to be the 3rd part of a trilogy, what are we seeing then afterwards? Is there kind of episode 1 Star Wars type?
For us, we've been very clear to say this is the last chapter of this trilogy that we started with Halo 1. But that would be our next order of business, is figuring out how can we make some new content to support Halo, like we did for Halo 2. We released maps online after the game was shipped. I think it's safe to say we'll do that again for Halo 3, but this new Peter Jackson Halo project will be our next priority, and we will figure out very quickly how to get that started. So we've talked about this in really sort of fluffy terms, that it's different, it's not a game, it's interactive storytelling. We haven't quite figured out exactly what it's going to be, but it's very exciting to have somebody like Peter Jackson and the storytellers at Weta and his team, with their passion for communicating and telling a story, with our team's passion for technology and also telling great stories and delivering great gameplay. I think whatever we end up doing together is going to be awesome, but we just haven't had enough time to really, truly figure that out, and that's our next order of business.
Do you think the next step will be, I don't know, Halo massively multiplayer shooting game?
You know, that's come up a few times today, and it's conceivable in terms of having a really rich universe that has a lot of depth to it. I could see it happening. There's nothing that I'm aware of that's underway. You know, who knows? Really, the pressure mostly comes from internally. It comes from within our own team. We have guys that really only want to make the best game possible, and for them, they will not they will never settle for anything less than the best. And it's that drive and sort of self-scrutiny that I think is what has made Bungie be so successful over the years. It's always pushing ourselves, and as long as we keep doing the games that we know we can do and make the best games possible, that's what matters the most to us. And most of the guys, honestly, I don't think feel a lot of that pressure. They just want to make the best game possible. You know, for me, I deal with fans all the time, and I'm aware that the fans expect us to do a certain thing, and I want to do that thing. And for Halo 3, I think people are going to be very satisfied with story, where it ends up, and the amount of games and features that we're actually providing them. It's going to be the best Halo game yet.